There come moments in life when silence weighs more than any spoken word, when those you once leaned on have turned away, and the world feels too cold to embrace you anymore. Yet listen closely, because when the world withdraws, God does not. When hearts grow distant, His purpose remains steady. And when you feel overlooked or forgotten, know this: God is preparing someone somewhere to step into your life carrying a fragment of His divine love. You might not anticipate it. You might even doubt it could ever happen. But hear me clearly: in His perfect timing, in His perfect design, God's love will reveal itself through someone meant for you. Many people cry out for miracles, expecting fire to fall from the sky, yet God's wonders often arrive wrapped in the simplicity of a human heart. A gentle word from a stranger, a helping hand when your strength begins to slip away, someone who appears right when your hope runs thin. That's not luck. That's God. His love doesn't always roar from the heavens. Sometimes it whispers softly through the soul of another He sends your way. When God chooses to reveal His love, He can use anyone, anywhere, at any time. You may think your pain has gone unnoticed, but even now He's stirring the heart of someone who will carry a message of His care straight to you. God works through people because He is love. His love is not confined to the clouds above. It moves through the veins of humanity, touching one life through another. Every time you think no one cares, God may be sending someone who will prove you wrong. Every time you feel unseen, He may be preparing an encounter that will remind you that heaven never lost sight of you. You see, God's love doesn't just comfort you from afar, it walks towards you. It reaches for you. It moves through ordinary people who do extraordinary things because they are guided by divine purpose. That's how God shows up through the compassion of others. Sometimes the person God uses won't look like what you expected. They may not speak your language, share your story, or walk your same path. But God's love has no boundaries. It can come through a friend, a teacher, a neighbor, or even someone you once considered your enemy. God can turn any heart into a vessel of His mercy. You might meet someone who simply listens when no one else does. And in that moment, you will feel the warmth of God's love surrounding you. You will realize that you were never abandoned. You were being led to the one He prepared for that season of your life. But before God reveals that person, He often tests your heart. He allows isolation not to punish you, but to prepare you. Because unless you've known loneliness, you'll never recognize love when it arrives. Unless you've tasted bitterness, you'll never appreciate the sweetness of divine comfort. So if you're walking through a season where everyone seems distant, understand this: God is not removing people from your life to hurt you. He's clearing the stage for the one through whom His love will be revealed. You had to be emptied so that He could fill you again through the right soul. Some of you have been asking, why did they leave me? Why did those I trusted turn their backs? And the answer is simple: because they were not the vessels God had chosen. Some hearts were too weak to carry the weight of His love for you. Some people were never meant to handle the responsibility of your purpose. God removes them not out of cruelty, but out of protection. When His love is meant to reach you, it will not come through someone who uses you. It will come through someone who values you as part of God's plan. That's why you had to lose those who only saw your surface, so that the one who sees your spirit could find you. And hear this truth: when God sends that person, it won't be confusing. You won't have to chase them, convince them, or beg them to stay. God's love brings peace, not anxiety. It brings assurance, not doubt. When His love moves through someone, their presence feels like clarity after a storm. They bring calm where there was chaos, light where there was darkness, hope where there was despair. That's the power of divine love in motion. You will know it's from God because it will not pull you away from Him. It will draw you closer. You see, when God reveals His love through someone, it's never just about companionship. It's about transformation. That person doesn't come to fill your loneliness. They come to awaken your purpose. They remind you of who you are in God's eyes. They lift you when you forget your strength. They don't just love you, they restore you. And when you encounter such a person, you're not just meeting a human being, you're meeting the evidence of God's hand in your life. His love manifested in a heartbeat, a gesture, a voice that speaks life into your dry places. But for God to send that person, your heart must be open. Many people pray for love, yet close the very door through which God wants to deliver it. Bitterness, fear, and pride become barriers. You cannot receive divine love while holding on to earthly wounds. God cannot send you someone to heal you while you're still clinging to the pain of who hurt you. You must release what's behind you to receive what's ahead. Forgive not for them, but for your freedom, because only a healed heart can recognize holy love. And let me tell you, when God reveals His love through someone, it will not always feel easy. Divine connections come with divine purpose, and purpose often brings refinement. That person may challenge you to grow. They may confront your weaknesses, not to condemn you, but to elevate you. Sometimes God uses love as a mirror to show you who you truly are. That's why divine love isn't always comfortable. It's transforming. It stretches you, molds you, and pulls you closer to the image of what God created you to be. Through that person, you will experience a love that not only warms your heart, but purifies your soul. So don't mistake temporary affection for divine love. The world offers imitation love, loud, shallow, and fleeting. But God's love is quiet and steady. It doesn't shout for attention. It shows up in consistency. It doesn't demand. It gives. It doesn't confuse. It clarifies. When God reveals His love through someone, it will align with your peace, not disturb it. It will strengthen your faith, not weaken it. It will remind you that you are valuable not because of what you can offer, but because of who you are, a creation of God, worthy of care, worthy of attention, worthy of love. Perhaps the person God sends will be someone who believes in you when no one else does. Maybe they'll stand beside you when the world walks away, or maybe they'll carry a message that reignites your hope. Whatever form it takes, recognize it as divine. Do not take it lightly when someone enters your life and begins to bring you closer to peace, to truth, to God. That is sacred. That is purpose. That is love revealing itself from heaven to earth through a human soul. You might not even realize how much you needed that person until you meet them. God's timing is precise. Never late, never rushed. While you were crying in the dark, He was preparing someone who would understand your pain. While you were questioning your worth, He was shaping a heart that would remind you how deeply you are valued. And when the two of you cross paths, everything will make sense. You'll see how every delay, every heartbreak, every lonely night was not wasted. It was preparation for that moment when His love would finally be revealed. And to those who think they've already missed it, who believe they are too old, too broken, or too far gone, hear me. God does not operate on your clock. His love knows no deadline. You are never too late for divine connection. Some of the most powerful revelations of His love come in the later chapters of life. You may think your story is ending, but God may just be introducing the character who will carry your spirit into a new beginning. Age cannot limit what God is ready to release. Even in sorrow, God's love can appear. Sometimes the one He sends is not there to stay forever, but to teach you something eternal. They may come into your life for a season, but leave behind a lesson that lasts for eternity. They remind you that love isn't possession, its purpose. God uses people as chapters in your story, not to fill your book, but to reveal His authorship. And once you realize that every person God sends has divine meaning, you'll stop asking, "Why did they leave?" and start asking, "What did God teach me through them?" Sometimes the love God sends into your life will not come dressed in perfection, but in patience. It will not arrive to impress you, but to understand you. The one through whom God chooses to reveal His love will see beyond your surface. They will see your heart. They will not run when your flaws appear. They will stay because their love is not their own. It is God's love flowing through them. And when that happens, you will know that divine love does not demand you to perform. It invites you to be at peace. It does not require you to be flawless. It allows you to be real. God's love meets you where you are. Yet it never leaves you the same. When God reveals His love through someone, you will notice something powerful. They will bring balance to your life. Where you were weak, they will be strong. Where you were unsure, they will be steady. This is no accident, for God sends what you need, not always what you want. You might have prayed for comfort, but God sends correction. You might have prayed for someone who looks perfect, but God sends someone whose spirit carries healing. You may have expected a blessing to fall from the sky, but God places it inside the heart of a person who will walk beside you. That is divine wisdom. God does not just answer prayers, He orchestrates them. The one God sends will never compete with your relationship with Him. Instead, they will strengthen it. They will not distract you from your purpose. They will remind you of it. Their presence will not drain your spirit. It will refresh it. When they speak, their words will not flatter your ego. They will feed your soul. Because when love is born from God, it carries a spiritual fragrance that human words cannot imitate. It brings peace to your chaos, direction to your confusion, and light to your path. It is love that uplifts without pride, supports without control, and stays without fear. But before God entrusts you with such a person, He often calls you into a season of inner transformation. You see, God never sends divine love into a heart that's still chained by bitterness. He cannot pour purity into a vessel filled with resentment. That's why your loneliness was necessary. Your silence had purpose. God used your isolation to purify your perspective, to strengthen your spirit, to remove the noise of the world so you could finally hear His guidance. Every tear you cried was watering the ground where His next blessing would grow. Every disappointment was clearing the way for divine connection. You thought you were being abandoned, but you were being aligned. God's love does not rush. It builds. It takes time to prepare two hearts that are meant to meet. Sometimes one person is ready while the other still needs healing. That's why patience is faith in motion. When you trust God's timing, you are declaring that His wisdom is greater than your desire. Because what God builds will last. He does not create momentary happiness. He creates lasting harmony. And when His love finally manifests through someone, you will see why the wait was worth it. What is sent by God will never require you to compromise your peace to keep it. When God reveals His love through someone, it is not only to comfort you, but to shape you. That person may be the instrument God uses to teach you forgiveness, compassion, or humility. Divine love refines. It exposes your hidden fears so they can be healed. It confronts your impatience so it can be replaced with understanding. It forces you to grow not away from God, but closer to Him. Because when God's love touches your life, it is not there to make you comfortable, it is there to make you complete. And through that completeness, you learn to reflect His love onto others. You may have been hurt by people who claim to care for you, but remember, humans may fail, but God never does. His love cannot be corrupted, and when it flows through someone, it transforms them as well. The person God sends into your life will carry the strength of divine purpose. They may not have all the answers, but they will have sincerity. They may not be perfect, but they will be present. You will recognize them not by how they look, but by how they make you feel when you are near them. Safe, seen, valued, and at peace. That is the language of God's love. But here is a truth that must be spoken. Sometimes God reveals His love through someone and then removes them. Not because the love was false, but because its purpose was fulfilled. God's love is eternal, but its vessels are seasonal. There are souls that walk into your life to awaken you, to heal a broken part of you, to restore your hope. And once that purpose is complete, God calls them to another path. Don't mourn their departure. Thank God for the revelation they brought. They were a living message, not a permanent possession. Their presence was proof that you were never forgotten. And when they leave, understand this: God's love did not leave with them. It merely changed form. The same God who sent that person still watches over you. His love is infinite. It cannot be confined to one relationship or moment. If He revealed His love once, He can reveal it again. God is not limited by time, space, or circumstance. His love finds new ways to reach you through a smile, through a word, through an act of kindness from someone unexpected. That's why you must keep your heart open, because divine love never stops moving. Sometimes God even reveals His love through pain. The one who hurts you may unknowingly push you toward prayer. The betrayal that shattered you may have forced you to find refuge in God. The loneliness that tore you apart may have drawn you into His arm. So even in suffering, love is working. Even in tears, purpose is forming. God's love doesn't always protect you from pain, but it will always use pain to perfect you. The same fire that burns also purifies. The same heartbreak that weakens your flesh strengthens your faith. Through every trial, God is preparing you for a higher expression of His love. And once you've tasted divine love, you will never settle for less again. You will stop chasing those who drain your spirit. You will stop begging for attention that isn't rooted in sincerity. Because when you know how deeply God values you, you cannot accept counterfeit affection. The love that comes from Him teaches you self-respect. It teaches you to walk away from those who play with your peace. It teaches you that being alone with God is better than being surrounded by people who do not carry His Spirit. That is the freedom divine love brings. It breaks every chain that once held you hostage to emptiness. One of the greatest signs that God's love is working through someone is that they remind you of your worth without even trying. They don't have to flatter you. Their presence affirms you. They don't need to convince you that you matter. Their actions prove it. They show up when it's inconvenient. They listen when it's uncomfortable. They choose patience over pride. And when you see such consistency, know this: it is not ordinary. It is divine orchestration. God is speaking through their actions, whispering through their kindness, reminding you that His love is still alive and active in this world. Sometimes the person God sends will not speak your language, but their spirit will. You'll feel peace without explanation. You'll sense familiarity that defies logic. It's because their soul recognizes yours through the divine plan. Before you ever met them, God already aligned your paths. They were not an accident. They were an answer. And once you understand that, you'll stop questioning why things didn't work out with others, because it was never meant to. God's love doesn't compete, it completes. God's love is revealed not just through romance, but through every form of genuine care. A mother's prayer, a friend's encouragement, a stranger's kindness. Each one is an echo of divine compassion. God's love wears many faces. Sometimes it's the neighbor who checks on you, the child who smiles at you, the teacher who believes in you. Every time someone chooses goodness when they could have chosen indifference, God is revealing His presence in the world. Never underestimate these moments. They are sacred. They are God reminding you that His hand still touches the earth through human hearts. There will come a day when you look back and realize that every connection, every heartbreak, every delay was divinely coordinated. You will see how the ones who left were making space for the one who would stay. You will see how the tears that fell watered the roots of your strength. And you will understand that God's love is not random. It is deliberate, wise, and patient. Every detail of your story has been written with divine intention. Nothing is wasted when God is the author. And as you live, you will also become that vessel for someone else. You will be the one through whom God reveals His love to another weary soul. That is the beauty of divine love. It never ends with you. It flows through you. When you speak encouragement to the broken, when you forgive the undeserving, when you stand beside someone who has no one else, you become the evidence of God's love on earth. You may not realize it, but your compassion could be the answer to someone's prayer. That is how God works. Quietly, powerfully, through willing hearts. If you truly desire to witness God's love revealed, become the vessel that carries it. Be the one who listens when others turn away. Be the comfort when others cast judgment. Be the light that shines when everything else grows dim. For every small act of sincere kindness becomes a pathway for divine love to flow into the world. God is not seeking grand displays. He seeks faithful hearts, hearts that mirror His gentleness, His compassion, and His calm. When you love without expecting anything in return, you carry the very essence of God. And the greatest revelation is this: God's love is not something to pursue, it is something to awaken to. It surrounds you constantly, speaks through people, and moves within the moments that seem ordinary but are filled with the extraordinary. You are never without love. You are never invisible. The evidence of His love is already drawing near to you. Even now, somewhere, God may be stirring a heart to reach out, to speak life, to hold you steady in your weakest moment. You may not know their name yet, but they are coming. Because when God decides to reveal His love, nothing can stop it. And when that moment arrives, when the person God has prepared finally crosses your path, you will feel something shift within your spirit. It will not be mere emotion. It will be divine recognition. Your heart will sense what your eyes cannot yet comprehend, because God never sends confusion wrapped in affection. He sends purpose dressed in peace. The love that comes from Him will never drown you in uncertainty. It will anchor you in calm assurance. It will not compete for your attention. It will align with your faith. For when God moves, His presence brings order, not chaos. His love does not rush. It settles. It builds upon truth, not illusion. You will notice that the one through whom God reveals His love will value silence as much as words. They will listen with sincerity, not to reply, but to understand. Their patience will teach you that love is not about how loudly someone speaks, but how deeply they care. Their actions will carry consistency, and their loyalty will not fade when life becomes difficult. For God's love does not flee at the first sign of trouble. It stands firm in the storm. It does not depend on convenience. It thrives on commitment. When God's love is flowing through someone, their faithfulness becomes a reflection of His eternal nature. There will be seasons where God uses someone's gentleness to heal the wounds others caused. That's how He works. He uses the same realm that hurt you to heal you. The very place you were betrayed will become the place where He restores your faith in love. The very kind of person who once broke your heart will be replaced by one who cherishes it. Because God is not only a healer, He is a restorer. He will not just mend what was broken, He will make it stronger. When He reveals His love through someone, it is not a repetition of your past. It is the redemption of it. And sometimes that person will enter your life when you least expect it. When you've given up on love altogether, when you've closed your heart and said, I am done trusting anyone. That's when God steps in, because He wants you to know that love was never the problem. Misplaced trust was. Love is still pure, still powerful, still divine. It's just that you needed to meet love in its true form. The form that God designed, not the one the world distorted. The love that comes from God will not demand that you lose yourself. It will inspire you to become your best self. It will not take from you. It will give to you. It will not dim your light. It will make it shine brighter. You see, God's love is so powerful that it cannot be hidden. It radiates through the one He sends, illuminating every space they enter. You will see it in their humility, in their compassion, in the way they treat others. They will not speak of love, they will live it. And when they touch your life, you will feel something holy about it, because divine love carries a purity that no human effort can manufacture. It humbles your pride. It softens your anger. It makes you want to become better, not for approval, but out of gratitude. That is how you know it's from God. It transforms you without demanding that you change to please another person. It draws out the goodness that was already within you. But hear this truth. Before God sends someone to reveal His love to you, He may first call you to become that person for others. Because love that is not given cannot be fully received. You must learn to be a vessel of divine love before you can recognize it when it arrives. That means speaking kindly when it's easier to criticize, forgiving when it's easier to resent, helping when it's easier to ignore. Every act of selfless love you perform prepares your spirit for the love that is meant for you. God uses your giving to shape your receiving. The heart that gives love without expectation is the heart most ready to receive it in its purest form. And when you love others sincerely, even when they don't deserve it, you are not being weak. You are being divine. Because love is God's greatest expression of strength. It takes power to remain gentle in a cruel world. It takes courage to keep your heart open after being hurt. It takes faith to believe in goodness when disappointment surrounds you. But every time you choose love over bitterness, you are testifying to God's nature. You are declaring that evil may touch you, but it will not define you. Hatred may come near you, but it will not live in you. You are saying to the world, I am guided by God's love, not man's opinion. And those who live by that love will never be without favor, for wherever divine love resides, blessings follow. When your heart becomes a reflection of God's compassion, doors open that no man can close. You will attract peace. You will attract people who honor you. And you will walk under the light of divine favor, because God does not ignore a heart that mirrors His own. When you become a vessel of His love, you become unstoppable, not by force, but by grace. Love is not weakness. It is the purest form of divine power. Sometimes God will even use your enemies to reveal His love. You may ask, how can that be? But understand this, when someone mistreats you and you choose not to respond with hatred, you are witnessing the power of divine restraint. When someone lies about you and you remain calm, you are standing in God's love. When the world tries to pull you into bitterness and you rise above it, that is proof that love has conquered your heart. God uses opposition to show you what real love looks like. Strong, patient, unshaken, rooted in peace. That is when you begin to see that His love is not just an emotion, it is your armor. God's love is not fragile, it is unbreakable. It survives betrayal, endures silence, and outlasts time. It remains when all else fades. It cannot be destroyed because it originates from eternity. And when that eternal love touches your temporary life, everything changes. The things that once mattered begin to lose their grip. You stop chasing approval. You stop fearing rejection because you finally understand that no human can take from you what God has already given to you. Unconditional love flowing endlessly from the source of all creation. And when God reveals His love through someone, it is not meant to replace your faith, it is meant to deepen it. Their presence will not distract you from your devotion, it will remind you of it. They will not take the place of God in your life. They will point you back to Him. True divine love never competes with your spiritual life, it completes it. That is why when God sends the right person, you will feel peace both in your heart and in your soul. You will not have to question if it's real because everything about it will align with truth. You may have waited for years. You may have prayed with tears. But when that love finally arrives, you will see that the waiting was not wasted. It was sacred. God had to prepare your heart, purify your intentions, and strengthen your spirit. Because if He had sent that person earlier, you might have mistaken them for something ordinary. Now you will recognize the extraordinary when it appears. You will look into their eyes and see not just affection, but divine purpose. You will feel that this connection was written long before you ever prayed for it. Because God's timing is always perfect, and His revelations always arrive when your heart is ready, not when your mind is impatient. But even before that moment comes, you can already begin to live in the awareness of divine love. Open your eyes and see how God surrounds you with signs of His care. The sun that rises to greet you each morning, the air that fills your lungs, the stranger who smiles at you. All are reminders that His love never left. When you begin to see life through that lens, gratitude replaces fear. You no longer beg for love. You recognize it everywhere. God's love is not limited to people. It is written into the rhythm of existence. It flows through the laughter of children, the kindness of elders, the stillness of nature. Everywhere you look, if your heart is open, you will find Him. And that awareness changes everything. You begin to treat others differently. You begin to see pain differently. You begin to understand that even heartbreak is a classroom where God teaches you to love more deeply. Every experience becomes sacred. You stop asking, "Why me?" and start saying, "Teach me, God." Because every moment, good or bad, is an opportunity to know His love in a deeper way. The person who understands that never loses peace. They may cry, but they still trust. They may hurt, but they still hope because they know that love is not gone. It is simply preparing to appear in a new form. So today, wherever you are, lift your head and believe this truth. God's love will be revealed through someone in your life. It may come softly, it may come suddenly, but it will come. It may walk in quietly, but it will leave a permanent mark on your heart. That person will not only remind you of what love feels like, they will remind you of who you are, chosen, worthy, and deeply known by God. And when that love finds you, do not run from it. Receive it with humility. Cherish it with gratitude. For through it, God is speaking directly to your soul, saying, "You are not forgotten, you are not alone, my love has found you." There are moments when you will feel that God has forgotten you. that your prayers are bouncing off the walls, that your cries for help are met with silence. But listen closely. God is never absent. He is never unaware. He is preparing someone, molding someone, positioning someone to reveal His love to you in a way that will change your entire perspective of life. You may not see it now, but God has already whispered your name into the heart of another. Somewhere, someone is being moved by the Spirit of God to bless you, to comfort you, to remind you that you are not alone. God's love is not confined to feelings or thoughts. It moves through people, through actions, through compassion that touches the soul when words cannot. When you least expect it, God will send someone who will see your pain when you try to hide it behind a smile. They will feel your heaviness when you remain silent. That's not coincidence. That's divine orchestration. God works through human vessels. He uses ordinary people to express extraordinary love. You might think that the person who shows up in your life came by chance, but nothing in the realm of God happens by chance. Every encounter, every conversation, every moment of kindness is part of a divine plan unfolding with precision. When God decides to reveal His love through someone, He moves mountains, rearranges schedules, and crosses paths that were never supposed to meet, just to show you that His love never left you. Some of you have cried yourself to sleep wondering when God will show up. You've said, "God, if you still love me, give me a sign." And while you were expecting a miracle to fall from the sky, God was preparing a person to walk into your life and remind you that His presence is closer than your breath. It may be through a friend who listens when you thought nobody cared, through a stranger who helps you when you had no strength left, or through a loved one whose words heal wounds you never spoke about. That person is not random. That person is God's messenger, sent not with wings, but with a heart full of compassion. There is someone whose spirit is aligned with yours, whose soul resonates with your pain and hope alike. That person will appear in your life when the time is right, not to replace God, but to reflect Him. For the love that comes from God does not enslave, it liberates. It doesn't manipulate. It heals. It doesn't demand. It gives. When God sends love through someone, that love will make you feel peace, not confusion. It will make you grow stronger, not weaker. It will draw you closer to God, not away from Him. And here's the truth that many forget. Sometimes God reveals His love through unexpected people. The one you least expect may be the one carrying your blessing. The person you overlooked may be the one chosen to lift you up. That's why you must never despise small acts of kindness. Never ignore simple words of encouragement, because God often hides His greatest gifts in humble vessels. He can use the stranger at the market, the neighbor who checks on you, or even the one who once hurt you, because His love is so powerful that it can transform broken relationships into divine testimonies. There will also be times when you are the one God uses. You may not even realize it, but your words, your patience, your compassion might be the very tool God uses to reveal His love to someone else. When you forgive someone who hurt you, when you comfort someone in despair, when you show kindness to those who can't repay you, you are revealing God's love through your life. You become a living channel of divine grace. Every time you love selflessly, you are participating in God's eternal work of healing the world. Do not underestimate the power of being chosen by God to be that vessel. You don't need a title, a stage, or recognition. You just need a willing heart. God's love flows through those who keep their hearts pure and open. If your heart carries bitterness, jealousy, or resentment, His love cannot move freely through you. But when you surrender those burdens to God, He fills you with a love that overflows. And when it overflows, it touches everyone around you. Some of you are wondering why certain people walked out of your life, why those you loved didn't stay. But let me tell you, sometimes God removes people because their presence would block the one He has prepared for you. God doesn't let the wrong people stay when His love is ready to be revealed through the right one. When you hold on to what God is trying to remove, you delay your blessing. But when you let go and trust His timing, the one He sends will enter your life effortlessly, naturally, divinely. You will know it's from God because His peace will come with it. There won't be anxiety. There won't be games. There will be understanding, honesty, respect, and divine harmony. When God's love is revealed through someone, it brings clarity, not confusion. It brings strength, not weakness. It fills your soul, not drains it. You won't have to chase it because what is from God will come with grace. Sometimes God hides His love in the pain that breaks you. The same heart that was shattered will be healed through the touch of someone He sends. He will use another person's kindness to rebuild what life tried to destroy. And when that happens, you will see that every tear had a purpose, every delay had meaning, and every heartbreak was preparation for something divine. God allows pain only to make space for greater love. So do not lose faith when people disappoint you. Do not close your heart because of betrayal or rejection. The enemy wants to convince you that love is dangerous, that people cannot be trusted. But God wants to show you that love, when it comes from Him, is the most powerful force in the universe. It rebuilds faith. It restores hope. It reawakens the soul. The love that comes from God cannot be destroyed because it flows from eternity itself. Open your heart to receive it. Prepare your spirit to recognize it. When God sends someone to reveal His love to you, you will feel it in your soul. Their presence will bring light where there was darkness. Their words will sound like healing. Their care will feel like home. And when it happens, you'll realize it was never random, never chance. It was God Himself reaching through that person, whispering, "I still see you. I still love you. My presence has never left your side." So hold fast to your faith. Guard your heart with purity. Keep your spirit watchful. Because even now, in ways your mind cannot yet grasp, God is scripting a chapter of your life where His love will walk in through someone He has chosen. Someone who reflects His gentleness, His truth, and His light. And when that divine encounter unfolds, you will see that God was never distant. He was quietly orchestrating the moment to display His love through the one meant for you. Have you ever asked yourself a question you were too afraid to face? Have you ever stared at the ceiling late at night, wondering if the one holding your heart is truly the one God intended for you? My friend, nothing is more dangerous than tying your soul to the wrong person. The wrong relationship can drain your spirit, shatter your peace, deceive your mind, and blind you from the destiny God has prepared. That's why I speak with urgency today. Because so many are walking a path built on charm and attraction, yet it ends in heartbreak and confusion. And some of you listening right now, deep down, you already know that your heart has been given to the wrong person. But you need the voice of truth to cut through the fog. And God has brought you here to hear it. Love is powerful, but love misplaced is poisonous. Love given to the wrong heart will not build you, it will break you. It will not lead you toward God, it will pull you away. And yet, so many people cling tightly to relationships that are crushing them because they confuse attachment with destiny. They confuse obsession with love. They confuse temporary passion with eternal purpose. But God has not created you to live in confusion, to waste your days chained to someone who does not value the sacredness of your heart. God has called you to clarity, to strength, to a love that reflects His light, not a darkness that hides in shadows. There are signs when you are in love with the wrong person, and these signs are not always subtle. God has planted warnings in your spirit. He stirs your conscience. He whispers through the uneasiness in your soul. But too often people silence that inner voice. They say, maybe I can fix them. Maybe they will change. Maybe things will get better if I just love harder. My friend, when God shows you who someone is, you must believe him the first time. Ignoring the signs does not change the truth. Love is not meant to be torment. Love is not meant to strip you of your peace. When you are walking with the right person, the path may not always be easy, but the foundation will be solid because it is built with God at the center. When you are with the wrong person, the foundation cracks from the very beginning. And no matter how much paint you put over it, it will eventually crumble. The first sign that you are in love with the wrong person is when being with them pulls you away from God instead of drawing you closer to Him. Let me tell you with all conviction, any relationship that weakens your connection with God is not from Him. If you once prayed with fire, but now you can barely lift your hands because this relationship consumes all your energy, that is not love. If you once walked in purity, but now you compromise your values to keep their approval, that is not love. If you once heard God's voice clearly, but now all you hear is the constant chaos of arguments, guilt, and compromise, that is not love. Real love magnifies God. It sharpens your faith. It does not blur your convictions. It deepens them. If someone is pulling you away from the very one who created you, they are not sent by Him. And yet so many people hold on to relationships that are choking their spirit, believing that love is supposed to hurt. My friend, no. Love is not meant to choke the breath out of your soul. Love, when it is aligned with God, is meant to give life, not to drain it. The second sign that you are in love with the wrong person is when your peace is consistently replaced with fear, anxiety, and doubt. God has given you peace as a gift, a shield for your soul. But the wrong person will rob you of it little by little. They will make you question your worth. They will make you question your place. They will make you feel you are never enough, always one step behind, always on edge. That is not the kind of love God designed. A love that constantly keeps you guessing whether you are valued is not love, it is bondage. If every time you hear their name, your stomach twists in anxiety rather than peace, if every conversation feels like walking on eggshells, if every day is a cycle of being lifted and then dropped, then you are not in love. You are in captivity. Do not confuse the intensity of emotions with the stability of love. True love aligned with God does not leave you trembling in fear of tomorrow. It anchors you in faith for the future. The third sign that you are in love with the wrong person is when you must sacrifice your identity to keep their attention. God has made you in His image, unique, powerful, with a destiny crafted by His hand. But when you are with the wrong person, you slowly lose yourself. You begin to dim your light so they won't feel insecure. You silence your voice so they won't get angry. You bury your dreams so they won't leave. Piece by piece, you sacrifice who you are to keep someone who is not even meant to stay. And in the end, you look in the mirror and you don't even recognize the person staring back at you. My friend, any love that requires you to betray yourself is not from God. God did not form you so you could shrink into the shadows to keep someone else comfortable. God did not design your destiny so it could be thrown away just to hold on to a temporary attachment. If the cost of being loved is losing who God made you to be, then you are paying far too high a price. And the fourth sign that you are in love with the wrong person is when the relationship is built on control instead of respect, manipulation instead of trust, and selfishness instead of sacrifice. When you are constantly being controlled, when every decision is dictated, when you are treated more like a possession than a partner, you are not loved. You are trapped. Love rooted in God is never about domination. It is about mutual honor, about seeing the other person as a soul created by Him. But the wrong person will twist your heart into believing that love must always submit to their will, their temper, their desires. They will use guilt to bind you. They will use anger to silence you. They will use charm to keep you. And yet, all the while your spirit feels enslaved. Do not confuse possession with passion. Do not confuse manipulation with devotion. If someone loves only when you bend to their control, that is not love. It is bondage dressed in disguise. So many people see these signs, yet they stay. They stay because of fear. Fear of being alone. Fear of starting over. Fear of never finding love again. But let me declare with boldness, it is better to be alone with God than to be chained to the wrong person. It is better to walk in the wilderness with God's presence than to lie in a bed of comfort with someone who leads you away from Him. Loneliness with God is never truly lonely because His Spirit fills the empty spaces. But being bound to the wrong person will leave you lonelier than solitude ever could. God does not want you to live in the misery of a counterfeit love when He has prepared something greater, purer, stronger, and aligned with His purpose. Do not let the world convince you that you are nothing without a partner. You are already whole because God made you whole. Do not let the wrong person make you feel like your value depends on keeping them. You had value before they came, and you will have value long after they leave. God is not withholding love from you. He is protecting you from the wrong kind of love, so that in His time you can experience the right one. But as long as you are clinging to the wrong person, your hands are too full to receive the blessing God is waiting to give you. When God shows you the signs, He is not trying to take something from you. He is trying to save you. He is trying to free you. He is trying to remind you that His plan is greater than your attachment, that His wisdom is higher than your emotions, and that His love for you is deeper than any love a person could ever offer. Trust God's voice when He says, "Let go." Trust God's direction when He tells you the road you are walking is leading you away from Him. Do not silence His warnings just because your heart is entangled. The heart can deceive you, but God never will. So many hearts today are bruised because they have mistaken chemistry for destiny. They thought the sparks were a sign from heaven, when in reality the fire was only smoke blinding their eyes. God does not guide you with confusion. My friend, God does not lead you into turmoil and call it love. When it is from Him, even through trials, there will be clarity. There will be alignment, and there will be a peace that no storm can fully erase. But when it is not from Him, you will spend sleepless nights bargaining, reasoning, excusing, and hoping that the cracks will somehow hold the weight of your soul. But cracks never turn into foundations. They always spread wider until everything collapses. Let me tell you this with fire in my voice. When you are with the wrong person, your spirit will know it even before your mind admits it. God has written His truth into your very being. He has given you an inner alarm, a stirring in your conscience. Every time you feel that heaviness after being around them, every time you sense that distance between you and God when they are near, every time you force yourself to silence what you know is right just to keep them, you are betraying that divine voice inside of you. And I must warn you, the longer you silence God's whisper, the louder the crash will be when the truth finally breaks through. Do not wait for the breaking point. Do not wait until your heart is shattered into fragments. God is not calling you to endure destruction disguised as devotion. He is calling you to stand in His light, to recognize the truth, and to walk away from what was never meant for you. You may feel as if letting go will break you, but holding on to what God is trying to remove will destroy you. And some of you listening to me right now, deep down, you already know you are not where you should be. God has been nudging you, convicting you, warning you, but you have been covering your ears because you fear the cost of obedience. My friend, the cost of obedience is always less than the price of disobedience. Let us be honest with ourselves. So many stay in wrong relationships because of the illusion of time. You think, I have already invested years. If I leave now, all that time will be wasted. But hear me clearly, wasted years are never redeemed by adding more wasted years. Time spent in the wrong place does not become meaningful just because you refuse to walk away. If anything, the longer you hold on, the more years you forfeit that God could have filled with purpose, peace, and His true blessing. The enemy of your soul would love nothing more than to keep you trapped in a counterfeit love. So you never make room for the genuine one God has prepared. Do not let the years behind you chain you from stepping into the years ahead of you. Another powerful truth you must grasp is this: the wrong person often comes wrapped in your deepest desires. They may look like everything you prayed for on the surface, but if you test their spirit, you will see the cracks. This is why you must measure every relationship not by how much it excites your flesh, but by how much it honors God. The wrong person can speak all the right words, but their actions will betray their heart. They can shower you with promises, but when the test of time comes, their character will show whether they are aligned with God or not. Do not be blinded by charm. Charm fades, but truth endures. Ask yourself this question with courage. Does this relationship honor God? Or does it simply satisfy my loneliness? The answer to that will set you free. Let me speak with compassion now to those who are afraid of loneliness. Loneliness is real and it can be painful. But do not let loneliness trick you into tying your soul to the wrong person. Loneliness in God's presence is a season of preparation. Being with the wrong person is a prison of regret. The silence of solitude may feel heavy, but it will teach you to rely on God's voice. The noise of a toxic relationship will drown out God's voice completely. Do not let the fear of being alone rob you of the peace that God is trying to establish in your life. Remember this: God never leaves you. Even in your solitude, His presence surrounds you. It is better to be single in God's will than married outside of it. It is better to walk alone with God's hand holding yours than to walk with someone who pulls you out of His embrace. And hear this: the wrong person will always distract you from your purpose. God has created you with a calling, a vision, a mission only you can fulfill. But when you are tied to the wrong person, you spend your energy putting out fires in the relationship instead of igniting the fire of your destiny. You spend your time explaining yourself instead of expanding yourself. You spend your prayers begging for peace instead of interceding for purpose. And slowly the dreams God placed in your heart gather dust while you fight to keep alive something that God never breathed life into. If you truly desire to walk in the fullness of God's plan, you must be willing to release what is draining you. No matter how tightly you have held on, the wrong person will also distort your vision of love. They will make you believe that jealousy is passion, that manipulation is devotion, that disrespect is normal, that dishonor is acceptable. And if you stay too long, you will begin to normalize the very things God never intended for you to accept. You will convince yourself that this is all love is meant to be, when in truth, God has something infinitely greater. Do not allow your heart to settle for a counterfeit when the Creator of the universe has designed the real thing. You do not have to beg for real love. You do not have to compromise for real love. You do not have to trade your peace for real love. When love is aligned with God, it will not crush your spirit. It will uplift it. It will not silence your prayers. It will deepen them. It will not weaken your identity. It will strengthen it. And let me speak this into your life. Sometimes the wrong person is not wrong because they are evil, but because they are simply not aligned with the season and destiny God has placed on you. Good people can still be wrong for you. Do not let the fact that someone is kind, attractive, or even well-intentioned blind you from the truth that they are not your assignment. Not every person who enters your life is meant to stay. Some are lessons, not lifetime. Some are temporary companions, not eternal partners. Learn to release with gratitude rather than cling with desperation. If God allowed them to exit your life, it is because He saw what you could not. He saw the road ahead, and He knew that tying yourself to them would derail you from His purpose. And remember this: when you ignore the signs God gives you, the consequences do not vanish. If God shows you that someone is pulling you away from Him, and you stay anyway, the distance between you and God will only grow. If God shows you that your peace is being destroyed, and you stay anyway, your spirit will become weaker and weaker until you cannot recognize His voice anymore. If God shows you that your identity is being stripped, and you stay anyway, you will forget who you were created to be. Do not ignore the signs and then blame God for the outcome. He has already warned you. He has already spoken. The question is not whether God is guiding you. The question is whether you are willing to obey. So I ask you today, who has your heart? Who has your peace? Who has your focus? If the answer is someone who is not leading you closer to God, then you already know the truth. God is not calling you to live in denial. He is not calling you to stitch together a broken thing that was never whole to begin with. He is calling you to trust Him enough to release what is wrong so He can give you what is right. Trust God enough to let go. Trust God enough to wait. Trust God enough to believe that His plan is worth more than your temporary comfort. There is something you must understand, and it is this: the wrong person will always reveal themselves through patterns, not promises. Promises can be spoken in a moment, but patterns reveal the truth over time. Anyone can promise to change. Anyone can swear they will do better. Anyone can say the right words when they fear losing you, but patterns do not lie. If the pattern of their life leads you away from God, it will not suddenly turn into a path that leads you closer to Him. If the pattern of their choices leaves you drained, fearful, and silenced, no promise of "I'll change" will undo the reality that this is not the right soil for your soul. God has given you eyes not only to see words, but to discern actions. Watch the fruit, not the flowers. Flowers bloom for a season, but fruit tells you the health of the tree. And if the fruit is bitter, no amount of wishing will make it sweet. The wrong person will often appeal to your emotions, but the right path will always align with God's truth. Emotions are powerful, yes, but they can deceive. You may feel intoxicated by their presence, but intoxication is not the same as love. You may feel addicted to their attention, but addiction is not the same as commitment. And you may feel you cannot breathe without them, but dependency is not the same as destiny. God never intended for you to live enslaved to another human being. He designed you to be whole in Him so that your love for another person flows out of the abundance of His presence within you, not out of a desperate need to fill your emptiness. If you feel like you cannot survive without them, that is not a sign of love. It is a sign of bondage. And where God's Spirit is, there is freedom, not captivity. Some of you may be asking, but what if I leave and never find someone else? What if this is the only person who will ever love me? Oh, that is the voice of fear, not the voice of God. God has never abandoned His children. God has never withheld what is good when it is aligned with His plan. When you trust Him, He will not leave you empty-handed. When you hold on to the wrong person out of fear, you are silently saying that God is not strong enough to send you the right one. Do not allow fear to make you question the faithfulness of God. He knows how to provide. He knows how to bless. But you cannot receive His best while your heart is still attached to what He never appointed for you. There are times when your blessing is ready, but it cannot reach you because your hands are still gripping what should have been released long ago. Another snare that traps people in wrong relationships is the illusion of potential. You catch glimpses of who that person might become, and you fall in love with that imagined version instead of accepting the truth of who they really are. Remember this, love is not built on who someone could become someday. It is about who they are right now. God does not call you to marry potential, to bind yourself to someone's unfinished possibility. He calls you to discern whether the person before you honors Him as they are. If they refuse to honor God now, what makes you believe they will suddenly wake up tomorrow transformed? Change is not something you can force. Change is a work only God can do. And it cannot be rushed by your tears or secured by your sacrifices. If they are not walking with God now, do not gamble your destiny on the hope of what they might be someday. Do not confuse compassion with commitment. Yes, God calls you to love, to forgive, to show kindness. But loving someone does not mean binding yourself to them for life if they are destroying your spirit. You can pray for someone without pledging your future to them. You can hope for their growth without sacrificing your peace to stay. Too many hearts have been broken because they thought saving someone was their mission, when in truth only God can save a soul. You are not the savior of the person you are with. You are not their healer. You are not their God. Stop trying to do what only God can do and start listening to what God is telling you about where your heart belongs. And here is a sobering truth. The wrong person can cost you not just years, but generations. Because who you choose to bind yourself to will shape not only your life, but the lives of your children and their children after them. The wrong relationship is not just a personal mistake. It becomes a legacy of pain passed down. The battles you refuse to face today will become the burdens your children will have to carry tomorrow. But if you trust God enough to walk away from the wrong person, you are not only protecting yourself, you are protecting the generations yet to come. Do not underestimate the weight of this choice. Who you give your heart to shapes your destiny, and destiny shapes generations. God is calling you to break the cycle of settling so your children can inherit a legacy of strength, not of regret. And let me say this with fire. Sometimes the wrong person is not sent by accident, they are sent as a distraction. The enemy of your soul knows that if he can tie you to the wrong person, he can delay or even derail the mission God has for you. He knows that the wrong relationship can sap your energy, cloud your vision, and silence your prayers. While you are busy wrestling with heartbreak, you are too distracted to rise into your calling. While you are consumed with keeping someone who is draining you, you have no strength left to build what God has placed in your hands. This is why discernment is critical. Not everyone who enters your life is a gift from God. Some are traps meant to detour you. Pray not only for love, but for clarity. Pray not only for companionship, but for discernment. Ask God to reveal whether the person you are with is a divine assignment or a destructive distraction. But here is the hope. God is merciful and His arms are always open. Even if you have wasted years in the wrong relationship, even if your heart has been broken, even if you feel ashamed of the choices you have made, God can restore you. He can heal the scars. He can redeem the time. He can lift you from the ashes of what was wrong and set your feet on the path of what is right. But you must surrender. You must acknowledge what God has been showing you. You must be willing to release the counterfeit so He can give you the authentic. Do not cling to the ashes when God is offering you a crown. Do not dwell in regret when God is offering you redemption. Every step you take in obedience to God brings you closer to the destiny He has prepared. My friend, let me tell you something that may be hard to hear, but it is the truth you must face if you truly want to be free. Sometimes God allows your heart to break in order to save your soul. Sometimes the pain of separation is the very tool He uses to keep you from greater destruction. You may see the ending of a relationship as loss, but God sees it as protection. You may weep over what slipped from your hands, but God knows that what you are crying for is not worthy of the destiny He has placed inside you. Do not call it rejection when in reality it is redirection. Do not call it heartbreak when in reality it is deliverance. God knows what you cannot see, and He removes what you refuse to release. Think of it this way. If you are holding a handful of thorns, bleeding with every grip, yet refusing to let go, how can God place a crown of blessing upon your hands? He cannot fill what is already clenched in pain. He cannot pour new wine into a broken vessel that refuses to be healed. When you cling to the wrong person, you are closing your hands to the right one. And sometimes God in His mercy must pry open your fingers so that you do not destroy yourself in the name of holding on. Do not mistake His mercy for cruelty. Do not mistake His discipline for abandonment. God is not trying to hurt you. He is trying to heal you. Another truth you must never forget is this. Love without God's foundation will always collapse under pressure. You may have attraction. You may have passion. You may even have moments of happiness. But if the root is not anchored in God, the storm will uproot it. The winds of life will come. Disagreements will come. Trials will come. And if God is not at the center, what you built will not stand. Too many people enter relationships hoping their feelings will be enough. But feelings are fragile. They shift like sand. Only God is the rock strong enough to hold two souls together. If your relationship has no room for prayer, no room for reverence, no room for surrender to God, then it is built on sand, and sooner or later it will sink. But let me go deeper. The wrong person does not just steal your peace, they steal your vision. They cloud your eyes so that you no longer see what God placed in your spirit. You once had goals, but now you are distracted. You once had courage, but now you are timid. You once had fire, but now you are drained. The wrong person can dim the brightest flame until you forget it was ever burning. And if you allow them, They will convince you that you never had a purpose beyond serving their needs. That is the most dangerous thing about being tied to the wrong person. You begin to believe the lie that this is all your life will ever be. But God did not create you to live in shadows. He created you for light. He created you for purpose. He created you for victory. And if someone in your life is consistently blinding you to that truth, then you must see them for what they are, not a gift, but a chain. You may ask, but what if I love them too much to let go? Then I must answer you with conviction. Do you love them more than you love God? Because if the answer is yes, then you have made them an idol in your heart. And idols always destroy the one who worships them. God has commanded that nothing should take his place. Not wealth, not status, not power, and certainly not another person. When you love someone more than you love God, you will tolerate what he never intended you to accept. You will justify what he never approved. You will stay in what he has been calling you out of. My friend, do not let your heart dethrone God for the sake of another human being. No matter how strong your emotions may be, they must never outrun your devotion to God. And remember this, the wrong person will never celebrate the fullness of who you are. They will tolerate parts of you, but suppress the rest. They will love the version of you that serves their needs, but resent the version of you that shines too brightly. They will encourage you only when it benefits them, but grow cold when your success outgrows their comfort. That is not love. Love aligned with God rejoices when you flourish. It celebrates when you rise. It prays for your victories and stands beside you in your struggles. If someone cannot handle your growth, they are not equipped for your destiny. And if you shrink yourself just to keep them, you are betraying the very gift God placed inside you. Some of you have been praying for clarity, asking God for a sign, and he is answering you right now through this very message. The unease in your spirit is not random. It is God's alarm. The tears you cry at night are not unnoticed. They are God's way of nudging you toward freedom. The conflict in your soul is not weakness. It is the battle between your will and God's will. And I must warn you, the longer you resist, the louder the pain will become. God does not stop calling you. But when you ignore his call, the road becomes harder, the weight becomes heavier, and the heartbreak becomes deeper. It is always better to obey God early than to learn the lesson late. But here lies the promise. If you obey, if you release, if you trust, God will not only heal what is broken, he will exceed what you thought was possible. He will replace the counterfeit with the genuine. He will restore your peace, renew your strength, and realign your destiny. He will open doors you thought were closed and bring people into your life who will honor him alongside you. God does not take without giving. He does not empty without refilling. He does not close one chapter without preparing the next. The wrong person is not the end of your story. They are only the obstacle you must overcome to step into the next level of God's plan. Do not let guilt hold you hostage. Some of you feel guilty at the thought of leaving. You fear what others will say. You worry about disappointing family, friends, or even the person themselves. But let me tell you, your first responsibility is not to please people. It is to please God. You are not accountable to the opinions of others. You are accountable to the one who gave you life, the one who shaped you, the one who will judge you. And on that day when you stand before him, no excuse about "I stayed because I was afraid" will be enough. Choose now to honor him above all else. Choose now to live in obedience, not in fear. And finally, know this: when you are with the wrong person, your prayers will always feel heavy. But when you are aligned with God's will, your prayers will flow with power. There is a difference between praying for survival and praying with purpose. When you are with the wrong person, your prayers revolve around asking God to fix what keeps breaking. But when you are with the right person, your prayers turn into thanksgiving, vision, and partnership with God. One drains you, the other empowers you. One keeps you stuck in cycles. The other propels you forward into destiny. The choice before you is clear. Will you stay bound to what drains you, or will you step into what God has prepared for you? My friends, let me press this truth deeper into your hearts, because the decisions we make about who we bind ourselves to will echo for years, for generations, and even into eternity. Many are drawn by the allure of feelings, by the charm of appearances, by the fleeting rush of attraction. But God is not deceived, and He will not let your soul rest if you walk willingly into a trap. Love is sacred because it was God who first placed it in the human heart. Love is not man's invention, it is God's. And when you twist it, when you settle for a counterfeit, when you give your heart to someone who is not leading you closer to God, but instead dragging you further from His light, then you are choosing chains instead of freedom. You cannot build a life of peace on a foundation of compromise with darkness. You cannot plant the seeds of holiness in soil that is poisoned with rebellion. And yet, how many keep clinging to relationships that grieve the heart of God? They tell themselves, maybe things will change. Maybe if I try harder, if I sacrifice more, if I ignore the red flags long enough, this person will become who I need them to be. But God never calls you to sacrifice your soul to rescue someone else's rebellion. God never asks you to trade your peace for someone else's chaos. That is not love. That is bondage. There is a love that leads to life, and there is a love that leads to destruction. The wrong person will never push you higher. They will pull you lower. They will diminish your vision, distract you from your purpose, and weaken your strength in God. The wrong person will make you question your worth, distort your values, and dull your sensitivity to the voice of God. But when you are aligned with the right person, your faith grows stronger, your spirit becomes sharper, your purpose burns brighter, and together you walk in the light of God's blessing. Do not be deceived by the temporary thrill of being wanted by someone who does not honor God, for their desire cannot secure your destiny. Only God can do that. God is calling some of you today to let go of the hand you are holding, to release the grip on a relationship that has already shown you it is not built on truth. You are clinging to a person as if they are your Savior, but salvation belongs to God alone. You are clinging to their attention as if it can define your worth, but your worth has always been declared by God, and no man or woman can alter it. Do not mistake possession for love. Do not mistake passion for purity, and do not mistake comfort for calling. The wrong person can feel right to your flesh and yet be wrong to your spirit. Hear me with all the urgency of heaven. God does not want you entangled in a love that suffocates your calling. God does not want you trapped in a union that keeps you in constant conflict with His Word. He does not want your nights filled with confusion, your days filled with regret, your prayers drowned out by someone's disrespect. God wants you free. He wants you whole. He wants you in alignment with His will, walking with a heart that beats in rhythm with His purpose. The wrong person will fight against that purpose, but the right person will fuel it. Do not think that letting go means you are losing. No, letting go is the moment you choose to win. Because the greatest victories are not always seen in battles fought, but in chains broken. Sometimes the hardest fight is walking away, but in that step of obedience you are telling God, I trust you more than I trust this feeling. I trust you more than I trust this attachment. I trust you to provide better than what I am clinging to right now. And God honors that kind of faith. He honors the one who puts his will above their own desires. Beloved, there is nothing lonelier than being bound to the wrong person. There is nothing heavier than carrying a love that God did not bless. You will smile in public and cry in private. You will pretend to be happy but feel empty inside. That is not the life God has for you. God's design is not misery disguised as love. His design is not compromise disguised as devotion. His design is truth, peace, growth, and holiness. And when you recognize the signs that you are with the wrong person, do not ignore them. Do not explain them away. Do not bury them under excuses. God gave you discernment for a reason. When your peace evaporates, when your joy diminishes, when your spiritual fire grows dim, pay attention. These are not just emotions. They are warnings from the Spirit of God telling you that this path is dangerous. My friends, what God has for you will never require you to lose Him in the process. What God has for you will never demand that you silence your conscience, abandon your values, or sacrifice your calling. What God has for you will align with His truth, not twist it. It will lift you up, not tear you down. It will give you strength, not drain your soul. The wrong person is a weight. The right person is a wing. The wrong person will hold you back, but the right person will help you soar. So I plead with you, stop pretending you don't see the truth. Stop ignoring the quiet voice of God in your spirit. Stop delaying obedience because you are afraid of loneliness. God will never leave you empty when you surrender to Him. If He asks you to walk away, it is only because He has something greater for you. Trust His wisdom, not your emotions. Trust His timing, not your desperation. Trust His plan, not your fears. God is not against love. He is the author of it. But He will not bless a love that destroys your soul. And if you find yourself in such a place today, take courage because God is giving you the strength to walk out, to stand up, to choose Him over everything else. And when you do, you will discover that the love you were clinging to was never love at all. It was a counterfeit. True love flows from God, and anything that comes from Him will never pull you away from Him. My friends, listen carefully as I draw this to a close. Love is one of the most powerful gifts God has given to humanity. But it was never meant to be misused, twisted, or spent on someone who drags you away from His light. The greatest tragedy is not being alone. The greatest tragedy is being tied to the wrong person while your heart cries out for God. Do not trade your eternal peace for temporary comfort. Do not trade your purpose for a fleeting pleasure. Do not trade the voice of God for the whispers of someone who has no intention of honoring Him. If the signs are before you, if the evidence is clear, if your spirit is restless and God is tugging at your heart, then the choice lies in your hands. God will not force you, but He will warn you. He will not chain you, but He will call you. And when you listen, when you obey, when you trust Him enough to walk away from what is wrong, you are not stepping into emptiness. You are stepping into freedom. You are not losing love. You are making room for the love that God has prepared for you. A love that is pure, a love that strengthens, a love that does not compromise your soul, but aligns with His will. The wrong person will drain your spirit, but the right person in God's timing will pour life into it. The wrong person will close your eyes to God, but the right person will open them wider to His majesty. The wrong person will have you questioning who you are, but the right person will remind you daily of who God says you are. That is the difference between counterfeit and truth, between bondage and blessing, between destruction and destiny. Today, I urge you to make a choice. Choose God above everything else. Allow Him to guide your every step. Allow Him to protect your heart. Allow Him to shape the path that lies ahead. Trust Him enough to release what He never intended for you. And trust Him enough to wait patiently for what He has already prepared. Because when God is the author of your story, it always unfolds more powerfully, more beautifully, and far better than anything you could create yourself. This is your moment to rise in faith, to walk away from what is not meant for you, and to root your heart in His divine plan. For within Him there is no fear, no confusion, no regret, only peace, truth, and an unfailing love that endures forever. My friend, lean in and hear this with your whole heart tonight. You are not here by mistake. You didn't stumble upon these words by random chance. You didn't arrive at this very moment through coincidence. God Himself brought you here, and there's a reason for it. He wants to speak something that could shift the entire direction of your life. God is guiding you towards someone who already carries love for you in their spirit. You may not see it right now. You may not feel it yet. But heaven is aligning your path piece by piece. God is arranging, directing, and shaping your steps toward a relationship that won't just touch your heart. It will reveal that His hand has been covering your life from the very beginning. Some of you listening feel abandoned. You've been broken. You've been rejected. You've been left behind. You've wondered if anyone could ever truly care for you as you are. You've carried the weight of loneliness like a heavy stone on your chest. And in the midnight hour, when no one else saw your tears, you asked, "Does anyone even see me? Does anyone even want me?" And I tell you this with authority. God saw you. God heard you. God cared for you even in that moment. And now He is leading you to someone who already loves you. Not because of what you can offer, not because of your performance, not because of your achievements, but because of who you are in the eyes of God. The world has taught us to chase love, to chase approval, to chase validation. But hear me, when God leads, you don't have to chase. You only have to walk. When God prepares, you don't have to beg. You only have to believe. And when God appoints someone into your life, you will not have to force their love. It will already be there. God is not the author of confusion. When He sends the right person, it will not come with chains of fear, but with the peace of His guidance. So many of you have wasted years running after people who never saw your value. You've poured your heart out to those who trampled on it. You've loved those who could not love you back. But let me tell you something. Rejection is not the end of your story. Rejection is often the redirection of God. Every no you faced was not a punishment, but a protection. Every door that closed was not God abandoning you. It was God saving you from what was not meant to hold your heart. He was preparing you for someone who already carries the love He intends for you. You see, human love can be selfish. It can be conditional. It can be shallow. But the love that God plants in the right person for you, it is steadfast. It is pure. It is lasting. And when you step into that God-ordained connection, you will realize that the delays, the heartbreaks, the waiting were all leading you here. God never makes mistakes. He knows who needs to be in your life, and if you trust His timing, if you trust His direction, He will not disappoint you. Some of you have been questioning the silence of God. You've been asking, why has He not answered yet? Why do I still feel alone? Let me remind you, silence is not absence. Silence is preparation. God is weaving together a story greater than what you can see. And sometimes before He places someone in your life who already loves you, He must first teach you to love yourself as He sees you. He must first heal the wounds of yesterday so that when this love appears, you don't sabotage it with your fears. God is a God of order. He is preparing you as much as He is preparing them. Let me speak directly to your heart now. Do not settle. Do not lower your standards to fit into someone else's story. Do not compromise your worth just to avoid being alone. Because if you force yourself into the wrong relationship, you will miss the one that God has already prepared for you. The right person, the one God is leading you to, will not make you feel less, will not make you doubt your value, will not break your spirit. They will carry a love that reflects the care and thoughtfulness of God Himself. And here is the beauty of it. This person already loves you. Before you meet them, before the introduction, before the crossing of paths, their heart is already inclined towards you. Do you know why? Because God has already placed you in their spirit. He has already whispered your name into their destiny. He has already planted in them a readiness to love the one He will bring. You are not going to have to fight for their affection, because their affection is already aligned with God's design. When God says He is leading you to someone who already loves you, it means you are not walking into manipulation. You are not walking into games. You are not walking into exploitation. You are walking into confirmation, a confirmation that God's hand has been on your journey, a confirmation that His plan for you includes companionship, partnership, and love that will honor Him. But I must caution you, my friend, the enemy will always try to distract you before the blessing. He will always bring counterfeits before the real. He will try to convince you to grasp at what looks good on the surface, but is rotten underneath. And if you are not anchored in the guidance of God, you may confuse temporary attention with lasting love. That is why you must remain in prayer, remain in faith, remain in patience, so that when God presents the person who already loves you, your spirit will recognize them immediately. You don't need to perform to be loved by the one God sends. You don't need to chase. You don't need to beg. Real love, the kind God ordains, meets you where you are, accepts you as you are, and grows with you into all you are called to be. That is the kind of love God is preparing for you. Some of you feel unworthy. You say, "But I've made too many mistakes. I've been too broken. I've been too scarred." Let me tell you something. God does not lead based on your past. He leads based on His plan. He is not limited by your failures. He is not intimidated by your scars. The person He is leading you to is not blinded by your past. They are already prepared to embrace you fully. You are not too broken to be loved. You are not too far gone to be chosen. You are not disqualified from what God has prepared. Lift your head. Straighten your shoulders. Walk with faith. Because even now, while you're listening to these words, God is aligning steps. He is orchestrating encounters. He is setting in motion the very path that will bring you to the one who already loves you. And when it happens, you will not have to ask this from God. You will know because peace will rest upon it, because confirmation will be undeniable, because love will not just be spoken, it will be lived, it will be proven, it will be steadfast. And perhaps right now you don't feel ready. Perhaps you are afraid of being hurt again. That's all right. God is patient. He is working on your heart. He is healing wounds you don't even know are still there. And when the time is right, He will bring this person not to complete you. For God alone is your completeness, but to complement you, to walk beside you, to journey with you as you both fulfill the greater purpose He has written. There is something you must understand about the way God works. He does not throw lives together in chaos. He does not allow His children to wander endlessly without purpose. Every connection, every meeting, every path that crosses another is woven into His design rope. God is not careless. He is intentional. And if He is leading you to someone who already loves you, then every step of your past, yes, even the painful ones, was part of the preparation. Think about this. The tears you shed in solitude, the nights when loneliness pressed upon your chest like a weight too heavy to bear, were not wasted. They were watering the soil of your future. God was softening your heart, shaping your spirit, teaching you empathy so that when love appears, you will not take it for granted. The rejections you faced were not merely losses. They were protections. God was shielding you from hands that were never meant to hold you. And the silence you endured was not neglect. It was training. Training you to listen, to discern, to trust Him above all. God is not sending you just anyone. He is not leading you into another cycle of heartache. He is leading you to someone He has prepared, someone whose heart already beats with love for you, someone whose spirit already resonates with yours even before you meet. This is not the shallow affection of fleeting attraction. It is the deep current of divine design. But here is a truth that many overlook. Before you can recognize the person who already loves you, you must first learn to recognize the hand of God. If your eyes are fixed on your own desires, you will be deceived by appearances. If your ears are tuned only to the noise of the world, you will miss the whisper of God. But if you anchor yourself in Him, if you learn to hear His voice in the quiet, you will see the difference between a counterfeit and the real. God will never lead you to confusion. He will never guide you into destruction. His path may stretch your patience, but it will always protect your heart. And so I must tell you, wait. Do not rush ahead of God. Do not grasp at what seems available just because you are tired of being alone. Loneliness is dangerous because it can make you accept what is less than God's plan. But if you can stand firm in the waiting, if you can trust that God is arranging something greater than what you see, then when the right moment comes, your patience will be rewarded beyond measure. The person who already loves you will not just walk into your life. They will fit into your life as though God carved the space for them from the very beginning. Many of you have prayed, God, send me someone who will love me. And you've wondered why it has not happened yet. Could it be that God has already answered your prayer but is still preparing the introduction? You see, timing is everything. If you meet too soon, you might not be ready. If you meet too late, you may grow weary. But God is perfect in His timing. He knows when both hearts are prepared. He knows the exact season when the crossing of paths will ignite destiny. Some of you doubt this because of what you've been through. You say, but I have been betrayed. I have been left alone too many times. How can love still be possible for me? My friend, God does not operate within the limits of your pain. He operates from the abundance of His power. Your scars do not disqualify you. In fact, your scars are part of the story that makes your love stronger, deeper, more resilient. The one who already loves you is not deterred by your scars. They will see them as evidence of your survival, as proof of the strength God has built within you. Now let me take you deeper. This love that God is preparing for you is not only about companionship, it is about purpose. You see, God never unites people without a reason. He does not bring lives together for mere comfort. He brings them together for destiny. The one He is leading you to will not only love you, they will sharpen you. They will challenge you. They will inspire you to walk more fully in what God has called you to be. And you will do the same for them. Together your union will shine as a testimony of God's faithfulness. This is why you must not compromise. This is why you cannot settle. Because if you tie yourself to the wrong person, you will be pulled away from your destiny. But if you trust God's leading, He will not only give you love, He will give you alignment. He will send you someone whose vision complements yours, whose strength lifts you, whose faith pushes you closer to God. That is the kind of love worth waiting for. Let me remind you again, this person already loves you. Even now, while you wonder if you are forgotten, someone is praying for you. Even now, while you question if love is possible, someone's heart is already stirred by the thought of you. God has planted seeds in their soul, just as He has in yours. And when the moment comes, those seeds will bloom into a love that feels less like discovery and more like recognition. It will feel as though you've known them all along. That is how God works. His connections are not built on chance, but on destiny. Do you not see? You have been carried to this moment by the hand of God. And if He has carried you this far, will He not complete what He has begun? Will He not fulfill the promise He whispered into your soul? Do not let fear drown out His assurance. Do not let impatience rob you of His timing. He is faithful and He is leading you even now. Some of you may be asking, what do I do while I wait? The answer is simple yet profound. Draw closer to God, because the closer you are to Him, the clearer His leading becomes. The more you align your heart with His will, the more ready you will be to recognize the person He has chosen for you. Do not spend your waiting time in despair. Spend it in preparation. Work on your character. Strengthen your faith. Heal from your wounds. Because when the right person appears, you want to be ready to love them in the way God intended. Remember, love is not just about what you receive, it is about what you give. And if you are asking God to lead you to someone who already loves you, then prepare yourself to already love them in return. Let your heart be softened. Let your patience be stretched. Let your faith be deepened so that when destiny arrives, you will embrace it with open arms, not closed fists. How many lives have been wasted chasing what was never meant to last? How many hearts have been broken because people rushed ahead of God? But it does not have to be your story. You can choose to wait. You can choose to trust. You can choose to believe that God has something greater than what you see. And when you make that choice, when you rest your soul in His timing, you will be amazed at what unfolds. Because the truth is, the love that God ordains is not fragile. It is not temporary. It is not dependent on circumstances. It is rooted in His will. And anything rooted in God cannot be shaken. That is the love He is preparing for you. That is the person He is leading you toward. Someone who will not just walk beside you, but will walk with you toward Him. There comes a moment in every life when the silence of waiting feels unbearable. You look around and it seems as though others are finding love, others are being chosen, others are walking hand in hand while you are left behind. And in that quiet ache, doubt whispers, maybe it will never happen for you. Maybe you are destined to be alone. But I declare to you tonight with unwavering conviction, those are not the words of God. Those are the lies of despair. God has not overlooked you. He has not forgotten you. He has not abandoned you to loneliness. He is leading you, and His leading is never in vain. When God is guiding your steps, He is not merely thinking of your comfort. He is thinking of your destiny. He is orchestrating something that is bigger than a fleeting companionship. He is shaping a union that will become a reflection of His faithfulness. You see, love from God's hand is not just about filling an empty seat at your table. It is about filling your life with a partner who mirrors His care, His strength, His endurance. This person is not just meant to love you. They are meant to walk with you into the fullness of what God has written for your life. And here is the extraordinary truth. While you are here questioning, while you are here yearning, someone out there is already carrying love for you in their heart. They may not know your face. They may not yet know your name, but they are being prepared by the hand of God. Their story is being written to intersect with yours. Their path is being guided toward your path. And when that intersection happens, it will feel as if the two of you were always meant to find one another. Because you were. Do not underestimate the precision of God's design. He does not simply throw two lives together and hope for the best. He aligns them. He cultivates them. He places within them the strength to love with endurance, the patience to walk through storms, the humility to forgive, the courage to stay when others would leave. That is why the waiting is so important. Because if He gave you this person before the time was right, neither of you would be ready to carry the weight of such love. But when the moment comes, you will both be shaped by God's hand in such a way that your love will not only survive, but thrive. Do not confuse delay with denial. Just because it has not yet happened does not mean it will not. God's delays are not refusals. They are preparation. And while you are waiting, God is teaching you the discipline of trust. Because if you can trust Him in the waiting, you will trust Him in the having. And trust is the foundation of love. The person He is preparing for you is not coming to replace God in your life. They are coming to walk beside you as you both continue to follow Him. Let me speak plainly. You cannot afford to let bitterness poison your heart while you wait. Bitterness blinds you. It makes you suspicious of what God is doing. It convinces you to hold on to the past when God is trying to hand you a future. If you want to be ready for the one who already loves you, you must let go of the ones who could not. Do not carry yesterday's pain into tomorrow's promise. God cannot fill a hand that refuses to release what is broken. Surrender the pain. Surrender the disappointment. Leave it in His hands. Because only then can He place in your life what He has been preparing. And hear me on this. The one God is leading you to will not come into your life as a test, but as a gift. You will not have to wonder if you are enough. You will not have to beg for their loyalty. You will not have to chase their attention. Their love will already be waiting. It will be steady. It will be sure. It will not demand that you change who you are. It will embrace who you are while encouraging you toward who you are becoming. That is the beauty of God's timing. That is the security of God's design. Now let me bring your focus to something deeper. Love is not only about the emotions of two people, it is about the purpose of God working through them. That is why you cannot settle for less than His will. The one He is leading you to will not only know how to hold your hand, but how to hold you in prayer. They will not only walk with you in laughter, but stand with you in battle. They will not only celebrate your victories, but help lift you in your struggles. Because God never sends someone into your life just to fill space. He sends them to strengthen your purpose. And don't be mistaken, this kind of love is rare. It's not shaped by the shallow patterns of this world. It's crafted by the eternal wisdom of God Himself. That's why your gaze must stay fixed on Him, because the enemy will do everything he can to distract you with counterfeits. He'll send imitations that shimmer on the surface, but carry no real depth. He'll whisper that waiting is pointless, that settling for something easy is safer than believing for something holy. But if you choose patience, if you stay rooted in the promises of God, you'll see clearly the difference between fleeting attention and everlasting love. My friend, God Himself is guiding your steps. This isn't wishful thinking. It's divine truth. Each day you walk in faith. Each day you choose trust over impatience. He's aligning your path with someone who won't just appear in your story, but will stay for a lifetime. Someone who won't treat you as an option, but as a purpose. Someone who won't love you for your usefulness, but for your essence. That kind of love isn't man-made, it's heaven-sent. Do not be surprised when the day comes that everything suddenly makes sense. The broken pieces of your past will fall into place. The rejections you endured will be seen as protection. The long nights of prayer will be revealed as preparation. And standing before you will be someone who already loves you. Someone you will recognize not only with your heart, but with your spirit. It will be as though God Himself is saying, "This is the one I have prepared for you." And peace will flood your soul. But until that moment, walk faithfully, live fully. Do not put your life on hold while you wait. Continue to grow. Continue to serve. Continue to trust God with every step. Because love is not found in desperation. It is found in destiny. And when God ordains destiny, nothing can stop it. There is a truth that must sink deep into your soul. The love God prepares for you is not fragile, it is not uncertain, and it is not conditional. It is anchored in something greater than human desire. It is anchored in the divine wisdom of God. When God places love in your path, it is not tossed by the winds of circumstance, nor broken by the weight of trials. It is sustained by the one who designed it. That is why you must not measure God's plan by the disappointments of men. Human failure does not limit divine intention. God has not changed His mind about you. What He has promised, He will fulfill. You must begin to see yourself as God sees you. Too many walk through life convinced they are unworthy of love, convinced they are too flawed, too damaged, too forgotten to be chosen. But if you could see yourself through the eyes of God, you would know you are treasured. You are precious. You are worthy of a love that endures. God does not make mistakes, and He did not make a mistake when He made you. The person He is leading you to has already been given eyes to see you in this way, not through the lens of your failures, but through the lens of your worth. But understand this, before God places that person in your life, He often takes time to separate you from those who were never meant to stay. The leaving of people who did not value you was not abandonment. It was divine removal. God cannot bring the right one into your life if you are still clinging to the wrong ones. Every ending you thought would break you is actually clearing space for the new beginning He intends for you. Do not mourn forever what God has removed. Celebrate the space He has created, because it is being prepared for something far greater. And here lies a mystery that too few grasp. The person who already loves you is not waiting to be convinced. They are waiting to be revealed. God is not in the business of forcing love. He is in the business of aligning hearts. That is why you must remain patient. Because the same way you long for someone who will love you deeply, they are longing too. They are praying. They are hoping. They are waiting, just as you are. And in God's perfect timing, the waiting will end and the longing will meet fulfillment. Think of how remarkable this is. Somewhere in this very moment, there is someone whose life is being shaped, whose spirit is being prepared, whose heart is already inclined toward you, and they do not even know it yet. That is the magnitude of God's orchestration. You are not searching in vain. You are being led. And the person who is being led to you is already carrying a love that will feel like home. Now let me speak directly to your fear. Some of you are afraid that when love finally comes, you will ruin it. You fear that your past mistakes will resurface, that your insecurities will rise, that your brokenness will push the right one away. But hear me clearly. When God leads, He also equips. He does not just give you the blessing. He gives you the strength to sustain it. The person He brings into your life will not recoil at your humanity. They will embrace it because they too have been shaped by God's grace. This will not be a love that crumbles at the first storm. This will be a love that weathers storms because it was built by God Himself. Do not let comparison steal your peace. It does not matter how long others have walked hand in hand, how quickly they found their person, or how loudly they parade their happiness. Your journey is not theirs. Your timing is not theirs. Your blessing is not theirs. God is writing a unique story for you, and the timing of it is perfect. Do not measure your life by someone else's clock. God knows exactly when to bring forth the person who already loves you. And His timing will be better than anything you could force for yourself. And understand this, when that person comes, it will not be about perfection. It will be about alignment. You will not need them to complete you because God alone completes you. You will not expect them to heal your wounds because only God heals. Instead, you will walk together as two whole people chosen by God to complement each other. This is why you must continue to grow in Him. Now, the healthier your spirit, the stronger your love will be when it arrives, God. But let me press this point with urgency. Do not sabotage what God is preparing by entertaining what He is not. The enemy knows the power of God-ordained love, and he will send distractions. People who look appealing but cannot endure, people who speak well but do not live well, people who appear to love but cannot commit. Do not let impatience make you settle for a counterfeit. Counterfeit love always costs more than it gives. But the love God ordains, it multiplies, it strengthens, it restores. It is the kind of love that adds and never subtracts. So I tell you, guard your heart, guard your faith, guard your waiting. Because when the time comes, it will all make sense. Every tear will be explained. Every rejection will be justified. Every unanswered question will be resolved, and you will see with your own eyes that God was not silent. He was strategic. He was not withholding. He was preparing. He was not punishing. He was protecting. Can you imagine the day when you finally see the one God has prepared for you? It will not feel like the start of something uncertain. It will feel like the continuation of something eternal. Your spirit will recognize theirs, and theirs will recognize yours. And you will realize that while you were waiting, God was weaving. While you were hoping, God was aligning. While you were praying, God was answering. That is the power of His leading. And this is why you must remain steadfast. Because love that comes from God is not rushed. It is revealed. It is not taken. It is given. It is not demanded. It is discovered. And when you discover it, you will know beyond doubt that it could not have come from anyone but Him. Lift your faith higher tonight. Refuse to believe the lie that you are alone. Refuse to accept the notion that your story is over. God is still writing. He is still moving. He is still guiding. And the person who already loves you is not far. They are in His hands, being prepared just as you are. Trust His hand. Trust His timing. For when it unfolds, you will see the beauty of a plan that could only have been written by God. There are moments when the weight of loneliness presses so heavily upon a soul that it feels as though God has forgotten to write their name into the story of companionship. But my friend, God does not overlook you. God does not abandon you. God is not indifferent to the cries that rise from the secret places of your heart. He who formed the heavens and the earth knows the deepest yearning of your being. And He has already begun weaving together the unseen threads of your life to bring you face to face with someone who already carries a love that reflects His goodness. You see, love does not begin the day two people meet. Love begins in the heart of God, who plants it long before the eyes ever meet or the hands ever touch. That is why I say with absolute certainty, God is leading you to someone who already loves you. The world may try to tell you that love is something you must chase, that you must strive, manipulate, or compromise your worth to find it. But hear this truth. What comes from God cannot be taken by force, nor can it be diminished by delay. The one God has prepared for you does not need to be persuaded to see your value. They already love you with a love that has been nurtured in prayer, in patience, in the quiet chambers of their own soul, where they too have cried out to God. And God, who hears both hearts, has been preparing the day when paths will cross, when prayers will meet in flesh and bone, and when love that was once invisible will become a living reality. Do not mistake waiting for being forgotten. The season of waiting is sacred. It is not wasted. God uses it to mold your heart, to purify your desires, to strengthen your faith, so that when He brings that person into your life, you are ready to receive the gift without fear, without insecurity, without the shadows of your past dictating the joy of your present. Many people miss this truth because they confuse delay with denial. But if God is delaying, it is not because He has no intention of answering. It is because He desires the blessing to arrive at its appointed time, when it will shine brightest and last longest. And let me tell you this, when God says He is leading you to someone who already loves you, it is not just about romance. It is about alignment with His divine will. The person He leads you to will not only love you in word or emotion, but will love you with actions rooted in faith, with sacrifices born out of devotion, with loyalty the soul God has placed within you. And that is a love that does not fade with time. There will be moments when doubt whispers, What if I am not worthy of such love? But let me assure you, if God has written this blessing into your story, then your worth is already settled. You do not earn love by striving. You receive love because God has declared you deserving of it through His mercy and wisdom. Stop rehearsing your past mistakes. Stop condemning yourself with old failures. Stop believing the lies that say no one could truly love you. God has already ordained someone who sees beyond your scars and recognizes the treasure within you. And when God reveals them, you will understand why every disappointment, every heartbreak, every lonely night was necessary. Because all of it was preparing you to value the love He was sending your way. I must tell you this with urgency. Do not sabotage what God is preparing by settling for counterfeits. Too many hearts grow weary in the waiting and grasp at whatever passes by, mistaking attention for love, mistaking passion for commitment, mistaking companionship for destiny. But listen, when love is from God, it does not require you to diminish yourself. It does not require you to compromise your faith. It does not demand that you abandon your dignity. The person God is leading you to will honor you because they honor God. They will protect you because they understand you are a trust from the Almighty. They will cherish you not for what they can take, but for what they can give. That is the difference between human desire and divine design. So lift up your head and walk in faith. When you feel forgotten, remind yourself that God is still writing. When you feel abandoned, remind yourself that God is still guiding. When you feel unlovable, remind yourself that God is still preparing. The promise of God is not empty and His hand is not slow. The one who already loves you is being shaped by the same God who is shaping you. And at the appointed time, your paths will meet, and you will see with your own eyes what your heart has believed all along. That God is faithful and His love never fails. Every story of God's guidance is marked by patience, but every testimony of His provision is marked by joy. Yours will be no different. You will one day look back on this season of uncertainty and thank God for not letting you rush, for not letting you settle, for not letting you give up. You will see that His timing was perfect. His choice was flawless, and His plan was greater than anything you could have orchestrated on your own. God is leading you, and He is leading you well. Trust Him, for the one who already loves you is also trusting Him, waiting for you, praying for you, and longing for the day God unites your lives under His divine plan. And now I tell you with all the weight of truth in my heart, do not doubt what God has already declared over your life. God has written your story with care. He has not forgotten you. He has not abandoned you to wander endlessly. He is leading you step by step to someone who will not only stand beside you, but will love you with a love that has been planted in their heart by God Himself. That love will not fade. It will not be shallow. It will not break under pressure. It is anchored in the eternal power of the one who is love itself. Do not let fear steal the beauty of this promise. Do not let impatience push you toward what was never meant for your heart. Do not let the pain of yesterday blind you to the goodness that's still ahead. The hand of God never trembles. His design is perfect. His timing is divine. And when He finally brings you face to face with the one He has chosen for you, you'll realize that every tear, every quiet prayer, every night of waiting carried purpose. It was heaven shaping you to receive what only His wisdom could craft. Hold on tight, my friend. Stand your ground in faith. Keep your heart lifted in trust. For soon you'll look back and declare, God has truly been faithful. God has truly led me well. And in that moment, you'll see clearly, it was never chaos, never confusion, but God gently guiding you toward the embrace of someone who already carries your love within them. Because that love was planted by His own hand. And when it finally meets you, it will mirror His endless, holy love. My friend, let me ask you something today. What do you do when life itself seems to corner you with the impossible? What do you do when the doctor shakes his head and says there's no cure left to try? What do you do when your wallet is empty, your heart is weary, your family's breaking apart, and every door you knock on stays shut? What do you do when the weight of life pushes you to your knees and every whisper around you says, "It's over"? I tell you, lift your eyes to heaven, for the same God who scattered the stars and spoke light into being knows the silent cry of your heart, even in the middle of what feels impossible. He hears the prayers you can't put into words. He counts the tears that fall unseen in the darkness. He knows your every longing, your every need, even the ones that seem unreachable. And He alone holds the power to make what seems impossible bow to His will. There is no darkness so deep that God's light cannot pierce through. No wall so high that He cannot bring it down with a single word. No storm so violent that He cannot calm it with His breath. The impossible is not the end of your story. It is where the glory of God begins to shine. It is the place where human strength collapses and divine power rises. Many of you listening today are burdened under the weight of circumstances that you cannot change. You have prayed, you have waited, and you have asked, where is the breakthrough? Where is the answer? Hear me now. Just because you don't see movement doesn't mean God is not working. Just because the ground looks barren doesn't mean the seed is not sprouting underneath. Just because the night feels long doesn't mean the dawn is not on its way. God knows your desire even when the situation looks impossible, and He has not forgotten you. Do you know why God allows you to face the impossible? Because it is in those moments that you discover who He really is. When all human help is gone, when every option fails, when every friend turns away, then you find that God is enough. You may have thought your faith was strong when the path was easy, but faith is not proven in comfort. It is proven in crisis. Faith is not revealed on the mountaintop. It is revealed in the valley. And God knows exactly what He is doing. He knows your heart's desire. He knows the prayers you have whispered in the stillness of the night. He knows the longing that burns inside of you, the need that others cannot see, the dream you have carried for years. And God is saying to you today, do not be afraid, do not give up. I am the God of the impossible. Some of you are listening right now and you have been carrying an unfulfilled desire for years. Maybe it is the desire to see your family restored. Maybe it is the desire to rise out of poverty. Maybe it is the desire to walk in peace when your mind has been tormented. Maybe it is the desire to break free from a chain that has held you for too long. And you say to yourself, this is impossible. But I am here to declare to you what is impossible with men is possible with God. The doctors may not have the cure, but God holds the keys of life and death. The judges may not give you justice, but God is the judge of all the earth, and He does not sleep. The doors of opportunity may be locked to you, but God is the one who opens doors no man can shut. He knows your desire, and He is not limited by the word impossible. The reason many of us faint in the waiting is because we think God has forgotten us. But God does not forget. God does not misplace His people. God does not miscalculate His timing. God does not overlook your prayers. The waiting season is not wasted, lo. It is the season in which God shapes you, molds you, prepares you for what is coming. You think you are standing still, but God is working beneath the surface. You think nothing is changing, but God is aligning circumstances you cannot see. He is moving hearts, shifting atmospheres, removing obstacles, breaking chains. And when the time is right, the very thing you thought could never happen will break forth like a flood. Your desire is not hidden from Him. Your tears are not wasted. Your faith is not in vain. I want you to think about this. When a child cries in the night, the parent hears. Even if the house is filled with noise, the parent recognizes the sound of that child. And if an earthly parent can respond to the cry of their child, how much more will God respond to the cry of His people? Your cries do not go unnoticed. Your prayers do not rise into emptiness. They ascend before the throne of the Almighty, and He bends His ear to listen. The silence of heaven is not the absence of God. It is the preparation of something greater than you imagined. He knows your desire in the impossible situation, and He is not silent forever. Sometimes God allows the situation to grow darker so that when the breakthrough comes, no one can say it was human strength. Sometimes God lets the odds stack against you so that when the victory arrives, everyone will know it was His hand. Sometimes He waits until the last moment so that the glory will belong to Him alone. That is why your impossible situation is not a curse. It is an opportunity for God to show His greatness. You may feel weak, but God is strong. You may feel small, but God is infinite. You may feel forgotten, but God's eyes are always on you. When the world says finished, God says not yet. When the enemy says impossible, God says, watch me work, my friend. Hear me closely. When you look at your life and see the mountain that will not move, when you stare at the river that you cannot cross, when the giant in front of you seems stronger than anything you have ever faced, I want you to remember one thing. God knows. God knows your pain, your hunger, your desire, your prayer. He knows the secret longing of your heart. He knows the very thing you have been afraid to speak aloud. He knows what weighs you down in the night and what steals your peace in the day. And He does not only know, He has already measured it, already written the answer, already carved the pathway that will lead you out of what seems impossible. Many people say, I want God to remove the impossible situation. But beloved, sometimes God does not remove it. He transforms it. Sometimes He does not erase the mountain. He gives you the strength to climb it. Sometimes He does not dry up the river. He builds the bridge that carries you across. Sometimes He does not silence the storm. He anchors your soul so deeply in Him that the storm loses its power to destroy you. This is why you must never judge God by your present circumstance. He is bigger than what you see. He is wiser than what you know, and He knows what is good for you even when you cannot understand why the delay is long or why the road is difficult. His knowledge surpasses the wisdom of all men, and His timing is perfect. Let me tell you, desire is not something that hides from God. Desire is something He Himself placed within you. The very dream that burns in your spirit, the very hunger that drives you to your knees, that very ache in your soul, it was not placed there by accident. God put it there. And if He placed it within you, then He intends to fulfill it in His time and His way. Your desire may look impossible, but the one who gave you breath also gave you purpose. And purpose will never be denied when it is rooted in God. That is why you must never confuse delay with denial. Just because the blessing has not arrived yet does not mean it is not coming. Just because the healing has not manifested yet does not mean it is not on the way. Just because the door is still closed does not mean the key is not in God's hand. The reason some of you are broken right now is because you have been staring at the size of your problem instead of the size of your God. You have been measuring your situation by human ability instead of divine power. You have been listening to the voice of doubt instead of the voice of faith. But I came to tell you today, God is not intimidated by your impossibility. God is not limited by the laws of nature, by the verdict of men, by the reports of experts, or by the limits of time. When He decides to move, nothing can stop Him. When He chooses to open a door, no one can shut it. When He speaks life into a dead situation, even the grave must give way. Impossible is not in the vocabulary of God. And let me say this, God often uses impossibility to reveal His greatness to you. If life were easy, you would never learn to depend on Him. If every prayer were answered instantly, you would never grow in faith. If every mountain melted away at the first sign of struggle, you would never learn perseverance. But God allows the impossible to stretch you, to refine you, to deepen your trust, to strengthen your spirit, and to reveal to you that He is not a small God who works only in the shallow